Hey everybody, welcome back to Derby Talk.
Go to the whip.
Episode number 12, last and final episode here. Before we make it to the Kentucky Derby, the 150th running, the Run for the Roses, we're 16 days away, guys. And we appreciate everyone that's joined us along Derby Talk. If you're new, hey, for the love of horse racing here on the Hip Horse Captain.
Ding, ding, ringing the bell, baby.
Yeah,
part of the team.
Captain, in this video, we're going to take a look at the horses in the field. This is obviously pre-post, pre-odds, the odds makers. We got some, odds that people think that are gonna, come up, but also a lot of factors to look at in the Kentucky Derby. But let's take a look at this field. Anything you want to say before we jump into it?
The closer it gets, the shorter my circle's getting. That's all I'm going to say, Tommy.
Yeah, Captain, I kind of agree with you. The closer I look at this, some horses seem to be standouts to me, and we'll run through this field. Hopefully we can pick a couple long shots, and as we get closer, there'll be news to pay attention to. Pay attention to what the trainers are saying about the horses.
And some horses aren't going to like that track, Tommy.
Yeah, the workouts too, exactly. Local track there. So let's get right to it. Let's take a look at the big horse here. Obviously, some factors we can't put into it is the post position, the weather, and the crowd. Just some things that you got to take into play on Kentucky Derby Day. Fierceness by City of Light. 136 points. It's second behind Sierra Leone, but they're expecting this one to be the morning line favorite at
5 to 2, right?
2. Yeah. 136 points, like I said, second behind Sierra Leone in points. Todd Pletcher trains. Johnny V is in the saddle. Won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile as a 2-year-old. Finished third as a Holy Bull, first start as a 3-year-old. Kind of disappointing coming into that one. Then comes back in the Florida Derby and wins very impressively. Todd Pletcher has won the Derby twice. Johnny V has won the Derby 3 times. 1.7 million in earnings, 5 career starts. Impressive win the way this colt controlled the pace in the Florida Derby and just had another gear and got it done. I think Fierceness deserves to be the morning line favorite, and it's going to be tough to beat.
Rapoli stable, Todd Pletcher, Velasquez, going to be very tough on the front end, and definitely a win contender, Tom.
Yeah, definitely should be up front or stalking right off the pace. I expect it to be right up front. As you know, in the Derby, that post and the trip plays a major factor in the Derby. Next is Sierra Leone. Actually has the most points, 155 points in the division here. This is a gun runner colt. Chad Brown trains. Tyler Gaffleone is up. Neither Chad Brown or Tyler Gaffleone has yet to win the Derby. This might be their best chance. Won back-to-back stakes races. That Risen Star, a lot of superstars of this 3-year-old class came out of that one. Won the Bluegrass, closing off the pace. Only loss came in the Renton nosed out, just missing there. But you got to like Chad Brown, and you expect this one to be coming off the pace and is a closer. So it's going to be looking for a fast pace up front. And Chad Brown knows how to get the big races done and hoping to get the Kentucky Derby under his belt.
Tommy, this is a $2.3 million horse here. And you know what? Just a neck away from being undefeated. This is going to be one of the ones when it's all said and done. Yeah,
Captain, I think it's a lot on this, the pace, how it plays out. The next one we'll talk about is Catchin' Freedom, 8-1. Son of Constitution, Brad Cox trains this 3-year-old colt. Flavian Pratt gets the call. Won 3 out of 5 career starts. Won big in the Louisiana Derby last out. Won the Smarty Jones. So kind of new to the 3-year-old scene this year. Brad Cox has won this once, and Pratt has also won it once. Got nice local workouts at Churchill Downs. In that Louisiana Derby, it went from last to first to win the race. Didn't have the best start. I watched an interview with Cox, and he was talking about how Catchin' Freedom actually hit his head coming out of the gate a little bit. Yeah. So didn't have the best start, went from last to finish, and showed me that he could weave in and out, and he got on the stretch, and as soon as he got out on the end there, just finished down the stretch fast. So this one's interesting in 8-1.
This is definitely a late closing horse, and it needs a setup in front of him, and he may get that today because there's going to be a couple 50-1 shots. they're going to go out and contend with fierceness on that front end.
Yeah, and Brad Cox also has a couple other contenders in this race, so something to pay attention to. Maybe Brad Cox sends one of his horses, hoping Catching Freedom picks up the pieces. Forever Young, another one, 8-1, Real Steel. Yoshito Yagagi trains here. Saki is going to be up here. 100 points, Japanese, is going to be representing the Japanese here. Nice closing move in the UAE Derby. Had another gear down the stretch. Looked quite nice. This one's 5 for 5 in his career. Also won the Saudi race out there. Had a little bit of trouble, but went from last to first to win that one. So has some diversity here. Over $2 million in earnings here. I'm not quite sure though.
Tommy, this is the question. This is the question mark horse here. What are you going to get in that box of chocolates? We just don't know.
Yeah, 5 for 5.
And you know what? This horse is a proven winner. And what you're seeing, the Japanese contingent has been just growing and improving every time. And they bring another horse in that can be a contender in this Derby.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty good one. Rod Stewart and Forever Young there. Also, 7,000-mile trip, though. That's something you got to look at, how the horse travels. So, but
how he works.
Yeah, that will be on the radar. I agree with you. Japanese have really stepped up their horse racing game over the years, and you really got to pay attention to them sending some serious contenders over. Just a Touch, 15-1. Son of Justify, who's won the Kentucky Derby. Brad Cox trains this one. Justify won it in 2018. 75 points here. Finished second in the Bluegrass. After looking like he might win the race there up front, but Sierra Leone was able to just run him down in the stretch. But that was a really nice performance by Just a Touch. 15-1. You got Cox and Giroux. First Derby win came with Mandolin in 2021, so they do have one Derby. But Just a Touch, another one, maybe at a decent price here, 15-1, that might have a chance. I expect it to sit right off the pace, maybe stalk it.
And being by Justified, you're looking at a horse that is guaranteed to improve race to race. And you know what? This one may get lost on the front end if fierceness doesn't go out.
Yeah, you might got a point there. Stronghold, 20-1, Ghost Zapper, son of Ghost Zapper. Phil D'Amato trains. For Sue is going to be up here, 125 points here. Won the San Diego Derby last time out, won the Sunland Derby, 6 starts, 3 wins, 3 place. Both victories recently. This Ghost Zapper colt was tracking off the pace in both of its wins. So Stronghold, another one, maybe. D'Amato, a solid West Coast trainer out here. 20-1. I mean, maybe that performance not as strong. Derby, not as strong as usual.
Let me tell you, this is not. This is going to be the number 1 horse coming out of the West, and that's not a promising sign right there. This horse is good, but it's not great. I see this horse underneath on the exotics.
Okay, all right. Brazilians, 20-1 here. Into Mischief, sired by the Kentucky Derby, authentic in 2020, so has some success there. Bill Mott trains. To be determined on the jockey, 110 points. Won the Wood Memorial, stalking off the pace. Ended up winning by 2 lengths. I like that performance. I thought it looked nice. Finished 4th in the Risen Star before the Wood. That was a really big race.
That was a big race.
Bill Mott won with maximum security before he got DQ'd. So Bill Mott also looking to try to get a real Kentucky Derby win under his belt. But this one's also maybe one that I need to do a little more research and keep my eye on as close.
Improving horse. Hey, you have to leave him in the mix.
Endlessly, 20-1, Oscar performance. Michael McCarthy, Umberto Rispoli, 100 points here. Won the Jeff Ruby over a synthetic track from Turfway Park. Experience is on the softer surface. 5 wins and 6 starts, but 1 on the synthetic, 1 up at Golden Gate over the synthetic up there, and then has 3 wins on the turf. All comes from off the pace. So first time on the dirt. This is wild card, I guess you could say. 20-1 here, Michael McCarthy.
If he takes to the dirt at this track, not all horses take to Churchill, but some say Churchill can be a little bit softer to the horses that run on the Tapeta. So you never know with this horse. I see this horse in the back end of the exotics.
All right, Door Knock, 20-1, the son of Good Magic. Good Magic sired Mage, 2023 winner. So Danny Gargan trains. Luis Saez is going to be up in the saddle. 75 points, 6 starts, 3 wins, 2 plays, so knows how to get in the money. Broke its maiden at Keeneland, won 2 in a row after its maiden, including the Remsen, where he beat Sierra Leone by a nose. Everyone talks about that Remsen. That was an impressive one. Also won the Fountain of Youth, struggled in the Bluegrass, finished 4th. Might need to be up front to have a chance here. I expect this to be part of the speed, but Dornoch does have some class.
Dornoch's got some class, but I think that race against Sierra Leone took something out of him. Just not the same horse since that race, Tommy.
All right, let's move on to the next. Honor Marie, 20-1. Son of Honor Code, Whit Beckman trains here. Ben Curtis rides, 65 points, second in the Louisiana Derby. This is how this colt got here. Also won the Kentucky Jockey Club as a 2-year-old, so does have some experience. He ran from off the pace to close in the Louisiana Derby. Finished 5th in the Remsen to start his 3-year-old season, but that Louisiana Derby was quite nice, and I thought he finished strong. That was a very strong performance from Honor Marie. This one I might like underneath. I'm not sure about the win.
I was looking at this horse and I was thinking, you know what? I wish he had a couple more races before the Derby.
Yeah, strong performance though. And Encino, 20-1. Son of Nyquist. Obviously, Nyquist won the Kentucky Derby in 2016. Brad Cox is the trainer, to be determined on the jockey. Won the Lexington last out. That's how this colt got in its first career start on the dirt. So you got to like that. First 3 starts at Turfway. Won the John Battaglia, which is a nice Derby prep race. If he runs in the Derby, this would be Cox's 3rd horse. And won that 3-1 at Lexington. I think that was my pick, if you don't remember.
Yeah, it was a good pick, Tommy, too. And you know what? This is the horse's 4th race now. And, once again, you lose Nyquist, you got Cox. The horse can go to distance, but can he handle that going there at Churchill?
Yeah, maybe off the shorter layout, but that was a strong performance against Wine
That's
Stewart.
a quick turnaround,
because
too.
it did hold off Wine Stewart. There's nobody else in that race, but Wine Stewart looked strong, and Encino had another gear, so maybe an interesting one to pay attention to. Track Phantom, 25-1, son of Quality Road. Steve Asmussen trains this one. Joel Rosario, 70 points, finished 4th in the Louisiana Derby last time out. Had the lead and lost it down the stretch. Kind of a little disappointing there. Won 2 Derby preps from the fairgrounds. Set the pace in the Risen Star and finished 2nd. Expect to be up front and part of the speed. Steve Asmussen, winningest trainer of all time, has yet to win the Kentucky Derby.
It was one of the horses that I picked in the early going of the Derby talk and the Derby races. Everybody was looking at Track Phantom as one of the ones, and he slowly waned off. The horse seems to be just not all there like he was earlier in the year, so I'm going to have to take a pass on him.
All right, let's move on to Just Steel, 25-1, son of Justify. As we said, Justify was a Kentucky Derby winner. D. Wayne Lucas, Ramon Vasquez. D. Wayne Lucas has won the Derby 4 times, old school trainer. Finished 2nd in the Arkansas Derby last time out. Has 65 points on the trail, most experienced of all the horses in the field. 11 career starts, 2 wins, 4 place, 1 show. I don't know if this one will be able to get up for the win. I like the story of the coach, D. Wayne Lucas, getting another one here, but I'm not sure. Maybe underneath?
Coach a little long in the tooth, and this horse is going to really need to run. That second to Muth was kind of nice, but you know what? This horse is going to have to prove it to me.
All right, Domestic Product, 25-1, son of Practical Joke. Chad Brown trains, to be determined on the jockey. Won the Tampa Bay Derby last time out, finished 2nd in the Holy Bull. Speed figure kind of went down in the last race, but still got the job done. Chad Brown, might use one of these horses in a strategy. Domestic Product might be one of these horses, possibly maybe to use if he doesn't think he can get the win. What do you think?
Well, you know what? Setting everything up, that's the whole thing. How you want to set it up for your other horses. Because you know what? Some of these owners are just happy to be there, Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, Chad Brown having also Sierra Leone, so maybe trying to have someone to fight the pace up front. And maybe it's this one, Domestic Product, I'm not sure. Catalytic is going to be 30-1 the next one, the son of Catalina Cruiser. Safi Joseph Jr. trains. Julian Leperoux is going to be a born. Earned 50 points in its 2nd place finish in the Florida Derby. Lightly raced, 3 starts, 1 win, 2 place. But I mean, that was pretty nice. There's not too many people behind. For 3rd place is pretty far in that Florida Derby, so this one could be interesting at 30-1. Safi Joseph, edgy trainer. So I think at 30-1, this one might be a long shot you want to keep
You
your eye
might
on.
want to throw this one in, especially the race against Fierceness. It proved, that he can run.
All right, move on to Mystic Dan, 30-1 Golden Sun Sense. Kenny McPeak, Brian Hernandez finished third in the Arkansas Derby to get this colt into the Derby gate. Won the Southwest over the muddy sealed track, put up big number. So look for the track, off track. That's where I'm looking for this one. Mystic Dan, off track, I'm going to play it. If not, I'm going to pass probably on it. But Kenny McPeek, I love what he does with these 3-year-olds.
The only shot I give this horse is a really, really off track. I'm going to have to X him out, Tommy.
All right, West Saratoga at 40-1, Exaggerator. Larry Demento trains Jesus Castona. Is going to be riding second in the Jeff Ruby last time out. Won the Iroquois at Churchill Downs, so has a win over the track. 10 starts, 2 win, 5 place, and 1 show there. Going to have the best race of its career to get this one done.
I think the class of this horse is a little questionable right now, and I think he's really it's a slight reach, Tommy.
All right, T.O. Password, 40-1 here. Capano Ricky is going to be the trainer here. 40 points. This Japanese qualified, winning a maiden and a minor stakes race in Japan. 2 for tier 2 in its career. I did some reading about this one, saying that it's outclassed by other Japanese horses, but it is 2 for 2, 40-1, but don't know much about it.
Tommy, it got here on a gift because it was ancillary racing over in Japan, and it snuck in with a couple wins. So you know what? X marks the spot with that horse.
All right, Society Man, 50-1. Good Magic sired this one. Mage won, as I said, last year, sired by Good Magic. Danny Gargan trains to be determined on the jockey. This one finished second in the Wood Memorial at 106-1. Danny Gargan has 2 horses in this field. This one is going to be the bigger of the 2, so maybe some strategy to take a look at.
I'm going to have to X this one out, Tommy.
All right. Germanistic, they're expecting this one not to run. Christophe Clement said this one most likely not to run, but has 50 points, won the Gotham. I don't think he's going to be in it, so I think we
that lead to Grand Mo the First.
Grand Mo the First at 40-1, son of Uncle de Mo. So Uncle Mo sired Nyquist, who also won the Kentucky Derby. Victor Barboza Jr. And Hermilio going to be paired up here. Third in the Florida Derby last out, was quite a ways behind the second place finisher, but number 21 on the Derby list and gets in with 1 scratch. So this screwed Conquest Warrior. I got to tell you, Captain, I don't know if you remember that race.
Yeah, I know.
This would be Conquest Warrior in the gate. I don't want to bring it up.
I know.
But that would be Conquest Warrior. By a nose. Did you see the end of the Florida Derby?
By a nose.
If you didn't, go back and watch.
That's okay.
Captain was all over it. I'm sorry to bring up the bad news.
Conquest Warrior, you know what? Watch that horse in the future. That horse is going to be a great 4-year-old.
All right, and I guess that's the 21 horses. Other ones, we'll just Common Defense, 40-1. 5th in the Louisiana Derby last time. Epic Ride at 30-1. Uncle Mo, so obviously Uncle Mo.
Without knowing the post position, Tommy.
That's tough.
Without knowing the post positions right now and how it's going to set up and who's in, who's officially out, how do you see the top 3 what are your top 3 finishes?
Yeah, I mean, I got to see the post positions, pay attention to the weather. So we'll do another video next week, guys. But also we want to get your opinions here. So put down in the comments who you like. We're going to be doing our Kentucky Derby contest, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in that order. If anybody hits it, gift card, Amazon, $50 coming your way. Captain, I mean, I think Fierceness is above the class. Maybe I'm wrong. What I saw in the Florida Derby, currently has put out 15 Kentucky Derby winners, the most of any other races, and he just blew those horses away in the field. He controlled the pace. He's not going to have that his way, but I think he might be above the field here, so I would put him up there in 1st. I like the way Catching Freedom's coming on. 8-1 there. Constitution. Brad Cox talking about this one. Had some trouble. Has nice works over the track there. So I would put Catching Freedom up in there. And then, Stronghold. I mean, Forever Young. I think I'm going to go with the wild card there. It's got to be either that one or Just a Touch. Those are the 2 that I was looking at for my 3rd one. I'm going to leave Sierra Leone off because I know that you're going to talk about this one. But, Fierceness, Sierra Leone, Catching Freedom, Forever Young. I think those 4 are the ones that I know they're the top 4, but I'm focusing in on those, and I'm going to try to pick out a couple long shots maybe that could get it done with the post positions. and definitely dial in the replays a little bit more too.
As geared down as Fierceness was in that last race, because he's literally, Velasco is up on the last 16th of a mile. That horse undoubtedly has that it position, but he really wasn't pushed along on the front end. He's allowed to do a 48 and change. Generally, in the Kentucky Derby, they come out slinging. Even if you have a horse that has no shot, you would still like to hear your horse in front in the Kentucky Derby going down the backside. So, you've seen up 45 and change going a quarter of a mile. If you get 46 and change and this horse gets headed, he could be in trouble. I'm looking for Sierra Leone because of the way he raced last time, which wasn't really far back. It was kind of mid-pack. It kept himself clear on the outside. Tyler Gaffleone did. I think Chad Brown's prepping this $2.3 million horse for a serious win, because I'm telling you, when he gets in the stretch, no one's going to go by him. And I like Sierra Leone 1. I like Catching Freedom 2, and I like Fierceness 3 right now. Before they pick the post positions, I would go Sierra Leone, Catching Freedom, and Fierceness. And I think Sierra Leone's a win show bet.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good, interesting race. As we know, a lot of things happened before the Derby. We had some major scratches last year, and it happens every year. I think we had a lot, more than multiple horses scratch last year, so something to pay attention to coming up. The weather, obviously the post positions, the draw will be a couple weeks away. We're doing
They have a
early video.
Futures right now at Westgate in Vegas. The future, Fierceness is plus 325 and Sierra Leone's plus 375 as the two top favorites. In that race.
Yeah. I mean,
that's future bets. So if they don't go, you don't get your money back.
I mean, we're talking top picks here, but as you know, Captain, anything could happen in the Kentucky Derby. We saw it happen with Rich Strike a couple years ago.
Oh, bing, bing.
So anything can happen. We do have some favorites and picks.
And weather's going to play a condition.
Everything.
Weather.
And the crowd. I mean, some of these horses show up. I mean, there's a lot of action going on there.
Sierra Leone is not the most stablest horse in the world. Has a very tough time getting into the gate. And with 100,000 people there yelling and screaming, you got to be cautious of that horse.
What are you looking for, actually, talking about when you see them out on the track? You're watching them on NBC, you see them. What are you looking for the horses when they're walking on the track?
I don't want to see a wet horse. That's number one. I don't want to see a wet horse. I don't want to see kidney sweat between his legs. Last thing I don't want to, I want to see his ears pricked, all right? And I want to see him focused. I don't, you know what? I like him on his toes, but not too much on his toes. Just a nice, calm, relaxed horse, but I'd like a good prep for that race.
Oh, man. Kentucky Derby is 16 days away, guys. We appreciate you, Tommy D and the Captain. We'll have more official picks coming. Throw down in the comments if you guys like the hip horse and the Captain. We're here. Until next time, giddy up.
Like the farmer told the tater, plant you now and dig you later.